Do you have a solid trading plan for gold this week, or are you just hoping for the best? A lot of traders think that they have everything figured out, but they keep losing money and they don't know why. The truth is, people miss the key for finding really good trades inside of the market. And that's why in this video, I'm going to break down the entry, the exit, the profit target zones that I'll be looking for in the gold market this week. If you've ever felt like you were really close to getting it, but just something is off, this might be the missing piece that you need. Now we're going to start on the weekly time frame because we have a lot of price movement that has happened this past week. You can see very, very clearly that price was in a bearish state pretty much for 3 weeks. And then this week it came back with a lot of force and created a lot of momentum inside of the market and also created new market structures. So we're going to map that out and see what that looks like. So that way we can come up with a profitable plan for this upcoming week. Here on the weekly time frame, the first thing that I'm going to mark off is actually going to be this height at the top of the market. So a few weeks back, price went to 27.90. That was the highest point inside of the market. So I'm just going to make a really thin line in order to mark that off. The next level that I'm going to draw is going to be around 26.36. This was a really important level inside of the market, and I want to mark that off. And the next level I'm going to mark off is actually going to be right here around, let's just say 25. Let's just do 25.60, and then when we go to lower time frames, we can refine this level just so that way it still makes sense. So now let's go down to the daily time frame. And once we look at the daily time frame, we can see very clearly what has happened this past week, all of this bullish momentum. And one of the things that I saw this upcoming week, or from this past week, were some news catalysts that really sent the gold market pushing up. So now that we have this daily view, there are some extra levels that I'm going to add. So the first extra level that I'm going to add is going to be right here at 27.15. And I also want to move this level down. So now this level is sitting at 26.05. And then I do want to add another level. And I want this level to sit at 26.51, mainly because we do have a nice support here. Price did break, and then it formed kind of another support, even though we have a gap on this candle right here, and then it pushed up tremendously. So I want to mark that off. We may do some more refinement on another time frame, but for now, let's just go to H4. All right, so now we can see a lot more candles here on this gold market. And I want to mark off another level. So let me just clone this one. And the level that I'm seeing is about here at 27, let's just say 50, 55. Let's see, I may want to push this up actually. Yeah, let's just say 27.55, mainly because we do have this rejection, and then a couple of rejections within here. We may add some more levels within here on a lower time frame, but let's just hold off on that for now. And now that I'm looking at this level, I do see a support here, a rejection here, and then price has some consolidation in this zone right here. So let me just play around with the level and just see what I like. If you're tired of missing out on gold's big price moves, then go ahead and check out the Profitable Gold Market Blueprint. In this guide, you're going to have an easy to follow profitable trading table that tells you exactly when gold will be bullish or when gold will be bearish based on what's happening inside of the market. And it also includes profitable entry levels and different strategies. So maybe you've tried to understand the gold market, but you felt overwhelmed by charts, reports, and all these other things that you think you should be looking for inside of the gold market. But it really doesn't have to be that hard. In this guide, you can understand what it takes in order to make consistent profits inside of the gold market and really understand everything you need to in order to take the actions that you need to take in order to be successful. So you can decode the gold market trends like inflation, FOMC, geopolitical events, and also master simple strategies that follow the big players. So banks and institutions, basically you want to be following them. And then you also want to spot profitable opportunities to avoid common traps. So that way you can stop second guessing yourself and just enter the market. And then also understand key support and resistance levels in order to time your entries and also anticipate moves instead of just reacting, most times too late. And then of course, save hours of research with clear and actionable steps in order for you to be successful. So go ahead and check out the Profitable Gold Market Blueprint, and this timer will be active, and once the time runs out, the price will go up. I'll see you there. Okay, I'm actually liking this a little bit better right here at 2706, mainly because we did form a support here, and even though that support was broken with a lot of force, it did come back to this level and then continue to sell off. And then on the opposite side, so just today, we did form a resistance, and then we also formed a support, and then price is now above this level. So this lets me know that price has the potential to come up here. And of course, we're going to get into a lot more detail when we talk about this a little bit later, but this is kind of what I'm thinking right now inside of the market. And now if we go to this other level that we drew, so far it's looking good because we do have these taps right in here. So we have rejection, support, rejection. And then if we look to more recent price action, we can see this consolidation area, which was a little confusing. I remember looking at that real time. And then let's see what it'll look like if I push this up. So I pushed it up right here because of the rejections, and we also have a resistance right here. But what I actually want to do is push this up a little bit more. And the reason why is because if we look at most recent price action, we have some supports here, and then we also have a nice resistance level right here. So this is looking a lot cleaner to me. And before I move on, let me just make sure that this zone that I created has enough range. Okay, so this is almost 300 pips, definitely enough range inside of here. And then once again, focusing on most recent price action, we have this consolidation area where price pushed up and made all of this. This is the area I kept trying to get real time. Just didn't work out based on my schedule and some other things, but I did catch a move that you saw right before I cleared my chart. And I didn't get all of that. I may have gotten like a 1 to 4. I didn't get the 1 to 9 that I was originally targeting because I got stopped out. So this is looking good. And we may draw another level right here, but let me see how this looks if I actually just want to move this down, mainly because this is a key support level. So right now we're sitting at 25, let's just say 45. And we can kind of look at the stuff over here to the left just kind of as a guide, but we really want to focus on what has happened most recently. And this is all price action from the past couple of weeks that we definitely want to pay attention to. So we may add some additional levels, but right now this is looking good. Now that we're on the H2 time frame, we have a much better picture of what is happening on these different levels. So I'm just going to start off at the top once again. So here is the very top of the market at this point in time. It's 2790 roughly. And basically what I'm doing is just looking at the levels that I drew and just making sure that it still makes sense in terms of my level placement. And then of course I want to make any adjustments if I need to. So far everything is looking pretty good. So right here, there was some consolidation, and this may be a level that I want to mark off, mainly because if we look at what the market closed at, this level is really close. So let me just go ahead and draw a level right here. And we also want to make this thin just so we don't have these really big blocks on our chart. And then let me just line up my cursor with a line just to see how things look to the left. So I'm looking at this area right here. I'm looking at this. Okay, all good. So I wanted to place it here mainly because of this support. And then we have supports in this overall zone. We may adjust it when we go down to H1, but for now it's looking good. So once again, let me just make sure that I have measured. Okay, yeah, that's almost 200 pips. Perfect. Just want to make sure I got enough range. And then in here, it's a little, there's a lot of price action here, so I won't touch that right now. Right now, this is still looking good. We have multiple supports at this particular level. We also have that resistance. And then let's see if we move it up just a little bit. No, I don't like that. So we're just going to put it back. And we also have a couple of levels throughout here, but price is all the way up here. I can draw those out, but I choose not to. But let's just say for whatever reason, if price decided to come back into the zone, I could easily draw a level right here. And I would see that it would be touching some supports, and then also it will be touching some resistances. So it'll be all good. But for right now, this is looking really good. I don't want to cloud up my chart with too many lines. So let's go down to H1 and see if there's something else that we could potentially add. So now on H1, these levels are still looking good. I'm still satisfied with this. Let me see if I push this up just a little bit. So this is an area where basically it comes down to personal preference. So right here, I have a support. I have a little support here, support, support. And then I have these candles right here that are below this line, but we also have some rejections in this area. So I can keep my level right here around 27.33, or I can keep it where it was at before. It's really close to 27.30. I prefer round numbers, so I'm probably just going to put it around this area. So that way I have this support touching. So that looks good to me. And this level, actually, I do want to push it up just a little bit. And the reason why is because right here we have a nice resistance, and we also have some rejections as well. This support right here is basically the line is going through it. That's totally fine because that's older price action than this. And then if we look at most recent price action from today, which is Friday, the market is now closed. We do have a resistance level here, and we do have something going on here, not quite sure, but I'll just wait until Sunday night for the market to straighten that area out. But for right now, I really like this level sitting at 27.07. All right, so also now that we're on the H1 time frame, we can come up with our game plan for the upcoming week. For this upcoming week, it's going to be really interesting for a number of reasons. So we have a short week because this is Thanksgiving in the United States. So Thursday and probably Friday, the markets will be closed. And then we also have a couple of major data releases that are coming out. So there's consumer confidence. There's also the PCE or CPI numbers that are also coming out. We have GDP numbers that are coming out. So obviously these are going to be really major catalysts inside of the gold market. And it will be really good for you to understand how the market could potentially react based on those events that are coming out. So as far as my game plan for this upcoming week, one of the key things that I see right off the bat is this support level right here. From a technical standpoint, this support right here, I need for price to stay above this in order for price to remain bullish. Now, even though we had this really big run right here, there's still the possibility for price to retrace, and how much it can retrace we obviously don't know. That depends on the data releases that are coming out this week. It also depends on what is happening in the world in terms of areas where there's a lot of geopolitical instability or instability. And basically that was one of the reasons why gold pushed so much. People think it's because, oh, it sold off a lot and it needs to eventually go up. Not at all. It was the catalyst from what's happening in the world and the fact that gold is seen as a safe haven currency or form of currency, basically where people were putting their money inside of gold, and for some other reasons as well. So, and if you haven't grabbed the Profitable Gold Market Blueprint, then go ahead and check that out. You can find it in the description box below, mainly because it's going to help you be able to decode how to understand the gold market when it comes to the data releases and the news catalysts that happen. So that way you're not just relying on technical analysis, because you probably entered a trade, think that the market was going up, something happens, then the market just goes down, and then you're stopped out of the trade. So this happened to me a lot. Go ahead and check it out. It's going to be amazing for you. So going back to the plan, so this support I need for this to hold. It can be a temporary sell if price was to break this level right here, mainly because, or actually we could even say, to be a little bit safer, if it breaks this level right here at 68.85. Actually, this is where I got stopped out last night. So anyway, right around here, because price, I got stopped out somewhere in here, price pushed up. My ultimate target was 2,700, got stopped out, and then it came right back, and then it pushed up even further. So this is a really strong level. So really I want to see price stay above this level and then continue to push up. So of course, with price being above this key level right here that we just created, I want to buy as price continued to push up here. And one other thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that there's enough range. So this is obviously a lot. This is 300 and almost 50 pips. So that's amazing. And this could be a short-term short. Although in this market, still I'm generally bullish unless some fundamental reason happens and it changes my bias. But for right now, I definitely want to ride this trend of price pushing up. So on the opposite side, we have enough range right here. This is almost 200 pips, so that is amazing. And then of course, as price continue to break levels, I will be interested in possibly adding positions or entering new positions inside of the market and just continuing to ride this up. So one thing I want to look at is over here. So we have this area where price has made its highest point inside of the market, and price tends to go back to previous highs. So right here, this is 335 pips, definitely enough space. So this would essentially be my quote ultimate target in a sense, unless there was just something that was crazy. Now, price would have to move quite a bit, as you can see, 300 and something pips, almost 300 pips. And this is 200 pips. So what is that? 3, 6, 7, 8. Like, let's just say 900 pips inside of the market in order to reach the previous high of 2790. And that is totally possible. We've seen it inside of this market. But basically, this is going to be my game plan for the upcoming week. And I hope that you learned something from this video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed. And I will see you next time.